And now we go to the top 10 announcement. I feel there were no surprises here. The only one that I could think of who could have made it here was Angelica Lopez from Palawan. But reviewing her overall performance during the finals makes me think that the reason why she did not make it to the cut was not looking straight to the camera while walking, as she focused too much on looking at the judge's corner. I think that's the only reason na I could think of at the moment, as her catwalk and confidence level were just soaring to the roof. If she joins another pageant, I hope she could be more aware of her blocking and angles so there wouldn't be any missed opportunities like this. Now, listening to the top 10 girls answer their casual Q&As, I thought everyone did really a pretty good job. They all answered their questions very well, given how these questions revolve mostly about their respective bios that they submitted for the pageant. For me, it was really one way for us to get to know them well, and the true test here is really showcasing their personalities despite how light and simple the questions may have been. Because guys, let's face it, pageant contestants are usually heavily trained in hard-hitting Q&As, and so it would be nice to shake things up by asking light questions for a change, for us to get to know them better. And I feel at this point the judges would like to get to know them better, get a sense of who they are and what kind of a title holder they will be should they win the title, if ever. And just like any organization, it's one way for MUP to test their fit and how suited they are in this role. And guys, I think also this is one way to assess the spontaneity of the contestants as well. One reason I am thinking why the organization opted to give out light questions instead of hard-hitting ones, because of the current hostile environment that we are in right now, as the elections is just 1 week away from now. At this point in time, I feel for sure medyo hostile na yung mga tao, and probably MUP organization would like to control the situation by not putting or fielding hard-hitting questions that might put these girls in a bad light. For them, it would probably be unfair to ask questions with this kind of climate that we are in right now, because this could really harm these girls in the near future. Example na lang guys, paano pag may nagtanong sa kanila, what would you look for in voting for a candidate? Paano kung biglang may magsabi ng BBM ako or Lenny Robredo ako? She would certainly alienate a segment of the population, and the organization or the candidate wouldn't want that to happen. 'Di ba? Kontrobersya yon. So I feel pinoprotektan lang ng organization yung mga girls at this point in time. So going back to the top 10 finalists, let's go over them one by one. Michelle was asked about the most extreme activity she has done in her life, and she mentioned about scuba diving. I thought the way she expounded it was very light and but very profound, wherein she said one has to be brave to conquer her fears in life. Actually guys, nakakatuwa lang kasi she also articulated this topic in my interview with her 3 weeks ago. She made her interview so casual, and at this point talaga, I thought Michelle was already a shoo-in for my top 5. Then Celeste was next and was asked about the similarity of traits between Filipinos and Italian, being she's a halfie. And I love how she resonated so strongly with the audience by mentioning her family. I thought she was very authentic and heartfelt with her answer here. Next, let's talk about Baguio's Genesis Latugat, who was asked about her favorite color of the rainbow, and she answered red. While I appreciate her answer here, I just find it ironic that she would mention the color red, making her look more confident and powerful when she was wearing yellow during the Q&A. So for me, that was such a huge disconnect. Now let's go to Taguig's answer. Taguig's Kat Ligado was asked about her favorite mountain climb and related it with her boyfriend of 8 years. For a simple question like that, Katrina, in my opinion, was able to capture the audience with her spontaneity. Yun nga lang, if you will be technical about it, she started coming so strong but ending up quite weak as she continued with her answer. But I really have to give it to Kat in all her Q&A's performances in MUP. Magaling tong bata to sa strategy. It seems that she has a strategy in place every time she answers. Napansin nyo, she would always greet the audience or the judges every time the interview would start. Kahit sa prelims, di ba natandaan nyo? You remember how she greeted the judges by exclaiming, "How are you, judges? I have some good news for you. I am the second to the last candidate that you'll be interviewing, so you can finally relax after this." Di ba may mga ganun siya pahagip, kaya whether it's her way of shaking off her nerves or giving herself ample time to gather her thoughts and have a presence of mind just to buy more time, it really was working as the audience seemed to lap it up. And even the judges as well. And now let's go to Misamis Oriental's Annabelle McDonough, who was asked about her preference on being either seen on TV or heard on the radio. And I feel she scored a home run here by mentioning the platform of MUP. So, ang galing lang niya. She really slayed it. Lou, on the other hand, was so confident with her answer, and so was Pauline Amelings. But it was the last three girls whom I think really nailed their Q&As by giving out heartfelt and show-stopping answers. Chantal, for me, was the best in this round with her funny but authoritative answer. I thought she really had a Brooke Lee moment here where she had a fun time reliving the joys of her being a teacher. And while some would say that she made it too heavy hitting by using words like authority, voice, or any deep words, I really thought she really radiated with so much warmth and candor with her answer. And Julia, hands down, on the other hand, brought the house down with her heartfelt answer about losing her father at the age of 12. I thought that was a very powerful answer in showcasing herself as an empowered woman by financing her education through academic scholarships. I think at this point in time, I don't think anyone can top that answer in this round. And I was already predicting that Julia would make it to my top 5 and destroy my hot picks. Ganun siya kalakas for me here. And lastly, Vanessa Caro from Iloilo Province. I am just amazed at how Vanessa can really make such a simple question turn into a profound and enlightening one as she talked about resting as a reward for finishing a marathon. You can really sense Vanessa's intellect and substance here at play as she articulated it. She really did well here. So after hearing all their answers, I really had Makati, Misamis Oriental, Cebu City, Albay, and Pasay as my top 5 with Bohol, Iloilo Province, and Cebu Province as my alternates, just basing it from their answers. But when only 3 of my predicted top 5 made it to the final cut, I was totally surprised. I was quite shocked how the top 5 was judged and selected. Probably there were other factors that came into play because if it were just based on interview, Chantal or Julia should have been up there. But we couldn't also fault about and at this point we couldn't fault also about the gown or styling of these girls because both made it to top 10 and they were both very outspoken. And at this point in time, it was already useless debating about this as it is simply a judge's preference. I know some of you may be bashing Miss Taguig for making it to top 5, but I feel she must have been a consistent judge's favorite all throughout the competition and not just in the finals. Remember guys, the people who were behind the panel were the same judges during prelims and that Kat must have registered so strongly to them in terms of overall showmanship and performance. So that's why she's up there. As for Julia, Chantal, and Vanessa, well, they can take comfort in the fact that they have captured all of our hearts, pageant fans, and should be extremely proud of themselves for making such a huge impact despite not making it to top 5. Kasi win or lose, guys, it is the love and respect from us pageant fans which they will carry throughout the rest of their lives. Now, wala silang YouTube moment na talagang they really gave their best. Masyado lang talagang extremely cutthroat ang competition. And buti na lang din talaga Chantal is only 20 years old and can still come back in the near future. Vanessa can try it out for one more time, and I'm just happy that Julia went as far as top 10 in redeeming herself for her second foray here in pageantry. Now, going to top 5 and listening to their answers in the Q&A segment of the competition, I thought, to make the long story short, I thought it was going to be Bohol and Pasay who would end up as the last two girls standing in the end. Celeste, for me, was just so authentic and heartfelt when she spoke about her mom, whom she hasn't seen for the past 2 years. And sa totoo lang guys, going to top 5 beforehand, I feel sumagot na lang talaga na maayos si Celeste. However simple and trivial she may sound, she would really win. And her biggest rival was Bohol, Pauline Amelings, who was just impeccable with her relatable answer of being given a second chance to try it out in MUP. And I love how she personalized even more by sharing her struggles and bashing that she encountered in her journey along the way. Meanwhile, for me, both Misamis Oriental and Makati, while started so strong, did not generate much impact towards their ending statements. While Taguig, in my opinion, also gave a very nice and sweet answer. But then guys, this is where you will realize the importance of the final look portion of the competition talaga. It can also affect everyone's scores in their Q&A performance. Remember what happened with Janine Tugonan in Miss Universe 2012, right? She gave the best answer among the top 5 yet only ended up as first runner-up. And that's how I feel Michelle was able to come in second over Pauline despite the latter giving the best answer out of the bunch. And it was a no-brainer that Celeste won because she was just consistent and authentic all throughout. Na it was very hard to beat her that night. But moreover guys, I feel MUP was just addressing the needs and the requirements or taking after how its mother organization, Miss Universe organization, has been implementing things lately in its finals edition. Kasi 'di ba guys, let's not look from afar. Look at the results of Miss Universe 2021. Yung top of how the top 3 was chosen. Remember how South Africa gave a more superior answer than Paraguay during the final word segment, right? But look at how Paraguay was still able to beat South Africa in the final tally. So similarly here, this is how I feel Bohol was relegated to third place overall by Makati and Pasay despite how Pauline took charge of the Q&A portion. So yan ang napapansin ko sa Miss Universe lately, that they have been giving so much premium on the overall showmanship lately. And applying it to our case now, everyone gets why Celeste won as she has been very consistent all throughout. Add to that, very humble, authentic, simple, napakabait na bata, and very relatable. Hence, no buts and ifs, she was the clear winner. So how do I assess our chances in Miss Universe very soon? Ako, tatanungin niyo talaga ako guys, malakas talaga ang laban natin this coming December. Because aminin nyo, the past 2 years, takot tayong hindi makapasok sa top 5. Aminin nyo, we had to fight hard for Bea last year while we saw how Rebia broke down earlier. Ngayon, with Celeste's crowning, unanimous talaga tayong mga Pinoy in predicting that she will definitely be a shoe in the top 5. And with Sir Walter Tayag and her camp, the camp official training Celeste for Q&A, I will no longer worry that much because if Celeste was able to prove and show us how she has improved in her Q&A since her first pageant foray, for sure she is willing to fully immerse herself in her numerous trainings to become a more formidable candidate in Miss Universe. So overall guys, I am so happy about the finals that we had seen from last weekend. Although there were some aspects of the show that could still be improved like yung mga opening dresses and some of the performers during the show, I still would like to commend Miss Universe Philippines for pulling out its best edition yet in the past 3 years, and I'm hoping it will flourish and prosper more in the years to come. And as they say, onwards and upwards. So there you go guys. What do you think about my overall assessment? Sobrang haba. Pasensya na po. Well, let me know your thoughts down below. But before I end this, let me just say thank you to every pageant fan whom I met during the coronation night. It really warms my heart to see all of you go up to me and tell how much my hard work and effort have resonated so much with all of you for the past 2 years. Sa totoo lang guys, I initially no longer wanted to make a review of this finals night as I feel my on-site coverages due to my access from our organizations are already more than enough to make you giddy and subscribe to my channel. Since my commentaries, 'di ba? Sabi nga ng mga kritiko ko and bashers ko are so bland and boring compared to the others here on YouTube. But seeing all of you and hearing all your feedback, feeling ko may nagagawa naman pala akong maganda sa inyong lahat. Feeling ko kasi sa totoo lang guys, I am wearing you out guys with my safe, bland, and boring commentaries. Meron palang nakaka-appreciate sa inyo. So maraming salamat again. And to Idol's dad, Vanessa Caro's family, and supporters, and every pageant fan who I met before and after the show, it was really great meeting all of you at maraming salamat sa tiwala at support ang binibigay nyo sa akin. Nakaka-inspire talaga. Maraming salamat again.